Arsenal fans like, what striker are we signing? Could it be Gyokeres?
Could be. It could be. Could be Gyokeres. Could be Benjamin Sesko as well. They've definitely held talks with RB Leipzig about the conditions of a deal for Sesko. There's all this release clause innuendo, isn't there, with both of these players? I think the Sesko one, in a manner of speaking, there's a release clause in there somewhere, I'm told, but with all of these various conditions, which basically means I think it's just a negotiation now between the two clubs to try and find a price if Arsenal decide that this is the guy that they want. Gyokeres as well is another player who will cost big money too. Now, the Sesko one is interesting because this is a long-standing interest. Arsenal tried hard to get him in January as well, but that wasn't going to happen because RB Leipzig was still fighting to get into the Champions League for next season, and they didn't want to release someone like Sesko. So it's not something that's just come along in this transfer window. And I know Arsenal fans will get very frustrated. Why can't they just sign a striker? Like we've been explaining with various other deals, it is not as easy as just saying, right, let's just bring one in. They've got to do their due diligence on it because it is such an important position. It's one that they have been chasing for a while, and it is one that is going to cost big money. So they can't afford to get it wrong because a lot of people are thinking this is the final piece in the jigsaw for Arsenal. This is the position, the player to get them over the line after finishing second in the last few seasons. So they've got to definitely make sure that this is the right one. And the two that we continually talk about, and I know Henry's touched on it before, Sesko and Gyokeres, different players, different age profiles, different records. It's what Arsenal want to do. Do they get almost the ready-made guy, 27 years old, in Gyokeres, or do they get a guy who they feel may have a higher ceiling in Sesko, who's 22 years old? At this moment in time, it feels like they're leaning more towards Sesko, but I still think there's a lot of discussions to be had before they finally decide on which player that they want to bring in.
Henry, we're not going to go into January still talking about which striker Arsenal are going to sign. They're going to get one this summer, aren't they, finally?
Well, I hope so, because it's turning into Groundhog Day. I mean, it is just it is ridiculous that a club as well organised and well resourced as Arsenal Football Club, with so many intelligent footballing minds have taken this long. I mean, this is 5 or 6 years that this debate has been running. So I think that's poor by them. But as you say, they've got two legitimate, high quality targets now. Gyokeres is more sort of battle hardened, would step in immediately. You can just see him, with Odegaard and Saka, and I still think they need someone on the left. I watched Nwaneri yesterday. He's a fabulous talent. He's 18. He was playing in the European under-17s a year ago. I mean, he's a fabulous talent, but he's best off the right. It's unfortunate he's not more effective or he could develop into someone more effective off the left than Martinelli. But he's a terrific prospect. And we have to remember in all these things, because of PSR, clubs will always look within as well. And I think Arsenal are very well placed with the type of players that they are developing, attacking players. Obviously, Miles Lewis-Skelly, an attacking left back. Saka, obviously, another Hale End product. Nwaneri, Max Dowman as well, sort of longer term. We really have to salute that as well. But it is that centre forward. I mean, as I understand it, the complication is just dealing with Leipzig, who are just playing just hardball over Sesko. So, look, maybe them being linked more heavily with Gyokeres might sort of focus minds at Leipzig. I don't know, but I think the debate, well, touch wood, it will be settled because they have to buy a centre forward now.
I think they will.
This sounds ridiculous, right? But I'm famous for coming up with ridiculous ideas on this podcast. But Callum Wilson was at the Sam Fender concert last night as well. There's someone else that was there at the Geordie Love. You got the likes of him, Jamie Vardy. If I was Arteta, I know they're going to go for a Gyokeres or a Sesko. I'd get one of them in as well. Just get a body, get someone in who can put the ball in the back of the net. You've got those two floating around, goal scorers. And I just think for a club like Arsenal, they're just so desperate for anyone who can put the ball in the back of the net. I'd get one of them in first, and then I'd go for maybe a big target after. You've got so many games next season, and that a massive lack of firepower at the club. So for me, I was thinking about Jesus, the type of striker he was, and I thought with all his injury problems, would I go for a Wilson or a Vardy or someone like that?
I was about to ridicule you there, Pete, but I've learnt my lesson after you said, well, get 10, 15 million pounds for Trent Alexander-Arnold for 1 month. We all laughed at him, Henry, honestly.
And
he's let us know. Yeah. He's let us know.
Yeah. I also said weeks ago about Foden and his future at Manchester City, and I got laughed at then. And now I've noticed that every time that John sends me the script for this, is like, let's ask a question about Foden. I think, sometimes my crazy suggestions do come to fruition.
Sorry, there's a script.
No, the only bit that's scripted is my song.
Henry, we were on here for 3 hours practicing this before we invited you on.
Yeah, well, it's paid off. Listen, I always listen to you. Just on Vardy and Arsenal and Vardy, they messed around. That whole 40 million and a pound bid. Arsenal have got to learn, and that was 2016. I mean, you have to learn how to sort of use the market and strike. I mean, Callum Wilson, I think he's a fascinating individual to interview when he is fit. He is a force, but that's a difficult medical.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, mate. And looking at the window, as we sort of come towards the end, I mean, we've seen Liverpool strengthening, Manchester City is strengthening, Chelsea have brought in players as well. I mean, Arsenal and their supporters will be looking nervously at their rivals for the Premier League title. Let's face it, they're in the conversation, but all the others are strengthening. Arsenal, Henry, need to do the same.
Well, I think Arsenal will strengthen. I mean, it's also sort of making sure that you tie down good players like Gabriel to the right contracts. They've got a decision to make on Thomas Partey. I mean, he had a good end to the season. Declan Rice has been playing more as an 8 than a 6, so that's an issue they've got to look at. But they have got sort of talent coming through. It's just that number 9, arguably a left winger as well. Bukayo Saka, when he is fit and he's playing, he's a world-class talent. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think Arsenal fans will be panicking because they know that the club, obviously new sporting director, but they are very much focused on getting that number 9 in. So it's not time to be running around, Arsenal panicking. No.
Yeah, Pete, relax, mate. This window's just opened, but as we record it opens today. Arsenal need to get someone. Everyone else is signing players.
Star players in European football at the moment. So much fun to watch as well. And you've got some news reaching us from Germany.
Yes, from our colleagues in Germany, Bayern Munich have been informed that Barcelona are the front runners to sign Nico Williams from Athletic Club, according to our colleagues in Germany. Now, fresh negotiations have taken place in the last 20 hours, and it's thought Barcelona have the best chance to sign Williams, and that's despite, we sort of get this in every window, potential registration issues with Barcelona, but despite that, Sky in Germany expects Barca to complete the transfer for the winger, and they will make those numbers work for Hansi Flick. Why would you want to leave Bilbao? I'll never know. It's a lovely place, Jules.
I suppose Barcelona and Munich aren't bad places to be to either. But I mean, there will be those saying, well, look, he's one of the stars of world football. The Premier League is the place to be. Would it be a surprise that he hasn't been lured over here, Mark?
In one respect, yes, because I think he's top class. He fits the profile of what every Premier League club is looking for. Young player, 22 years old, someone who's got huge potential, a match winner, a superstar, a potential global icon. But La Liga don't like letting their superstars leave the league. They will do everything they possibly can to help Barcelona within the rules to ensure he stays in La Liga. And obviously Sky in Germany saying that's his likely destination. We know that there's been an interest from Bayern Munich and Arsenal as well. However, they're not going to let one of the superstars walk away easily, particularly if there is a side like Barcelona that say, we want you. We know he has this brilliant relationship at Spain with Lamine Yamal, the future of Barcelona. We also know that they're friends off the pitch as well, and that will play a big factor in where he decides to go. So therefore, you can understand in that reason why, La Liga say, no, we have to make this work. We have to find a way to facilitate this financially for Barcelona. Not only can they sign him, but they can register him. The other reason why there won't be more clubs interested is because financially it will be a huge deal to make happen. He's on big money already. The contract will be huge if he were to sign for a new club. The registration fee, the bonuses, the signing on fee, the agency fee, all these things that you don't necessarily think of. This could be a package that costs 150 to 200 million over 5 or 6 years. So for any kind of club in the Premier League to do that kind of deal, you've got to have a lot of cash. And that's why potentially things are just stumbling when it comes to clubs going, well, can we invest that much money? Yes, we think he's the real deal and he's going to be brilliant in the future, but actually it might be quite an expensive deal to make happen at this stage, but you never know down the line. The other thing to just mention as well, the sporting director Deco has said they also like Marcus Rashford and they also like Liverpool's Luis Diaz. So there's two other names as well as Nico Williams that's on that Barcelona list.
Interesting. We'll be keeping an eye on them all, of course. Let's just switch focus now to...
Arsenal have made a contract offer to Athletic Bilbao winger Nico Williams, according to reports in Spain. Mikel Arteta is keen to strengthen in the wide attacking areas this summer and has identified Williams as a top target. Williams enjoyed another productive campaign for La Liga side Bilbao and has also been linked with Barcelona, Chelsea and Bayern Munich. Arsenal are working to bring a new striker to the Emirates Stadium, holding talks with Sporting Lisbon's Victor Gyokeres and RB Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko. Arsenal have also indicated they are ready to meet Williams' €62 million release clause, though the winger still has his heart set on a move to Barcelona. In fact, another report from Sport says Williams has ruled out leaving Athletic Bilbao for any other club other than Barca. With that in mind, Williams is now expected to either head to the Nou Camp or sign a contract extension at Bilbao, the club he first joined at the age of 11. Williams is keen to remain in Spain and has held positive talks with Barcelona, who are open to a deal but only for the right price. Hansi Flick has also spoken with Williams privately and encouraged him to make the move to the La Liga champions. According to reports in Spain, Williams is even ready to take a hit on his salary to join Barcelona as he is desperate to play for the club and keen to link up with several of his international teammates, including close pal Lamine Yamal.